one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got you do the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing. Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun.
Well, it almost started again. I'm sorry about that. Man, I look rough. I look rough this morning. Good morning, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, citizens and friends and brothers and sisters all around the world. I am JJW. This is September 2nd, 2022, Anna Domini, and today's going to be a great day. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be like one of the best days ever. I can't believe it. I'm so happy to be here. I hope that you are happy to be here. The Dilly Do contraption's not telling me how many people are here, so please make sure to say hi in the comments. Good morning, Jeremy, my brother. This is Friday morning. I remain a little hoarse, but that's okay. We're going to muscle through. We got so much to talk about this morning. We have news. On the news docket today, we got a little cinema stuff. We got a little migration stuff. We got a little bit of Project Veritas exposing radicalization of children. We got a little bit of that. We get a little bit of the story about what happens whenever you run up to and slap a police officer and get your shit knocked out. We got a little bit of that. We got some space news. We have evidence that the Democrats have made Americans dumber than ever. And then, of course, last night on TV, I can't even believe it. One of my favorite movies ever just came out on TV. I want to talk about it. It was on TV. It was so amazing. Okay. Good morning. I'm JJ. This is for all this week, this show remains the inadequately titled Your Two Dads, but I am the only dads that is here. Deacon is out sick, I guess. I'm not sure. He told me last night he was feeling better, and I could tell because he was on Twitter and he was posting pictures of tater tots or something. So he was doing all right. England prevails. England prevails. England prevails. My God, John Hurt is so good in everything he ever did. Okay. If you have not already, please have a sip of coffee. And if you don't drink coffee, you can find it at any Starbucks in the country. You can make it at home yourself. It's so good for you. Some of the tools are finally starting to kick online with our restream thing. Let's start the news. First of all, we're going to start off light. If I can, how am I going to do this? I think I do this. I guess I have to do it this way because otherwise we'll get like some Inception stuff happening here. So, do you like movies, boys and girls? Well, this weekend only, you can see new films for $3 because National Cinema Day is September 3rd. That's tomorrow. They might do it all weekend. They might just do it tomorrow. As movie theaters face drought, they are hoping for a new event, and cheap tickets will boost attendance and lure crowds. Business Insider reports that National Cinema Today. Oh, Mike, this is a rough start. Let me try again. Okay, Business Insider reports that National Cinema Day is Saturday, September 3rd, and the Cinema Foundation, which is the National Association of Theater Owners nonprofit, is pleased to report that for one day only, more than 3,000 movie theaters across the U.S. will offer a ticket to a movie or screening for $3 or less. There are about 40,700 movie screens in the U.S., and at least 30,000 of them will be participating. The day, including Labor Day weekend, is typically slow at. What does this mean? The day. This is Bleeding Fool. This is not excellently written. You guys could have done better than this. It is typically slow at the movie theaters and expected to be especially slow this year, as the only major release this weekend is a re-release of Spider-Man: No Way Home. The only major release is they went back and they were like, what was that movie that made us $1 billion? Let's put that in the theater again and see if we can squeak out a couple extra bucks. Other films worth considering are Top Gun Maverick and the Brad Pitt action flick Bullet Train. Bullet Train is a great movie. And later today, I will be watching Maverick, but I'm not paying $3. I'm paying full price because I'm not smart. And, when you got kids, you got to go to the theaters whenever you can go to the theaters. That's the way it is. Good morning, Dragoon Knight. England prevails. England prevails. I'm going to try this again. I tried this yesterday, and I don't think it'll work. So we're going to put this here, and we'll see if you guys can see. Obviously you can chat with each other. But we'll see if you can see each other on screen. But it makes the news story so small. Can't do that. Gonna have to do that. Good morning, Dragoon Knight, and whomever else is here. Please hang in there. Please hang in. Even if National Story Day, even if National Cinema Day, it's not your cup of tea. There's news. We have so much news this morning. All right. So if you got $3 and you got 2 hours, why don't you go watch a movie? If you could find a movie that you want to watch in the theater. I don't know that you can. Manuel. Oh, good morning, sir. Tell your children that today's going to be the best day. Today is the best day for the kids. They're going to go to school. They're going to have a great time. And you're going to have a great time. And tell your mom we said hello. Family first, always. You stop this show and throw it out the window if you have to. I can't promise I won't cuss because we had great breaking news last night about 8 o'clock. All right, let's see. What's next? I'm afraid I'm going to develop some sort of a stereotype or something. This isn't my fault, but this is important stuff, and I have to talk about it every day. And I guess Deacon's not here to say stop talking about that. But we're going to get over it quick. This is going to go quick, I promise. From Breitbart.com, an exclusive: migrants were swept away by a swollen Texas river, say border crossers. Over in Eagle Pass, Texas, migrants crossing the rain-swollen Rio Grande River. Rio Grande. How did I say it when I was a kid? I feel like it's Rio Grande. Rio Grande River report that several members of their group were swept away in an attempted crossing Thursday. Border Patrol agents are performing search and rescue operations. This is as of yesterday morning, and I don't know if I found any update on the search and rescue efforts. So, members of a group of about 50 people who were illegally crossing the Rio Grande River to get into Texas on Thursday reported that several people from their group were swept away by the swiftly moving currents. It's not clear how many migrants may be lost in the river. Migrants reported that those swept away were mostly women and children, once again bearing the burden of harm and frankly, physically less capable of handling the immense danger of crossing the desert and crossing the river in disaster. And I mean, I'm physically less equipped, but in an effort that nobody should be engaging in, they're the ones that will pay the price first. We've already had stories about 2 children drowned in the last week, another one in critical condition, parents losing their children, and in this case, perhaps children losing their parents as well, children losing their mother as well. The migrants said they were chased into the dangerous waters as Mexican immigration officers attempted to stop them from crossing. That's right. Mexican immigration officers said, "Stop, don't go into the river." And the migrants said, "Oh my God, we're being chased into the river." And then nature did what nature does, indiscriminate of human of human cost, indiscriminate of human feelings or emotions or intent. Nature does nature, and swoosh, some people got lost. I hope that the search and rescue efforts will be successful. Approximately 1,855 migrants crossed the Rio Grande into the Del Rio sector per day last week. Per day. That's like 14,000 people just last week, according to the Del Rio sector executive officer of law enforcement operations, Victor H. Cardenas. Over the weekend, more than 5,000 immigrants were apprehended after illegally crossing the river. This left more than 1,900 in detention on Monday, which exceeds the legal capacity to hold migrants in these facilities. That is, the facilities can only hold, I don't know, a little bit less than 1,900. And if you have 5,000 coming in, you can't just cram people in there like sardine cans. So what happens? They either get shipped somewhere else or they get released on their own recognizance. Because we can't deport them anymore. We can't. Remain in Mexico has been dismantled or turned off by President Biden. Oh, poor Manuel had car problems. Manuel, what's going on? Car problem yesterday. Mechanic says I need a new engine. $5,600. I have had that happen, sir. I have had that happen. I had a. I have had that happen, and let's see, it was probably 2 years ago. Had a Volkswagen Passat, 2014 Volkswagen Passat, and I don't know if the engine head block cracked. I don't know anything about an engine. Stopped working is what I know. Stopped working, and I had a mechanic look at it, and he was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be like $6,500 to repair it." And I was like, well, I don't have $6,500 and I can't replace an engine myself. So I don't know what I'm going to do. So I ended up having to sell the car for pennies on the dollar and, took a gift from my uncle. So that helped me out in that problem. But, had that not been the case, I probably would either have had to finance a repair, which is crazy, or finance a new car, which I don't want to do, or take out a loan. I don't want to do loans, man. I don't want to be in debt any more than we already are. Trying to get out of debt. I've been spending the last 20 years trying to get out of debt. Car payments. So current car, no payments, paid it off. Well, bought it clean. Bought it clean. So we hope that you are able to sort out your problems. I know, I know, and am deeply sympathetic that in the moment where you have a broken car and you have obligations, you got to get to work, you got to get your kids to school, you got stuff you got to do, and you can't. I mean, it's very stressful to suddenly be encumbered with a massive bill, or else you can't do any of the rest of the things that you need to do in your life. Please let us know how that works out, Manuel. I want to know if you get this fixed, if you are able to resolve this, okay? All right, so we hope that the people are able to be, I hope the search and rescue efforts are successful, and we'll look back into that Eagle Pass stuff tomorrow. We got one more immigration story, but it's of a little bit more humorous note. As you know, we've been talking for several weeks about DC as an immigration sanctuary city, happily receiving many migrants from Arizona and Texas, and also New York City, and another immigration sanctuary city, happily receiving busloads of migrants from Arizona and Texas. I mean, sure, in the news, it might look like they're complaining about it and they're stressed and overworked or whatnot. But I mean, they're a sanctuary city. They're happy. They're happy to bring people in, migrants from around the world without documentation or screening or any sort of like health screens or whatsoever. They're happy to bring them into their city and to raise and support them and provide them services. And we in Texas, we want them to have, to feel like their efforts at providing sanctuary to migrants are helping. We want them to feel like, like if that's the position they want to take, we want to enable them to feel like that's successful. So Chicago, which is run by Mary Lori Lightfoot, I mean, except when people are getting shot in the streets like every weekend. But, Chicago proper, technically run by Mayor Lori Lightfoot, and they also have laws on the books that declare Chicago as a sanctuary city for immigration. And, this is a value that they hold near and dear to their heart, and we respect that in Texas. So Governor Abbott is now sending busloads of foreign nationals to Chicago as well. So if you are a foreign national breaking into the United States of America vis-a-vis the southern border in Mexico, if you can cross the Rio Grande without losing your children or your wife, perhaps your husband, or maybe your mom. Maybe you brought your mom. Maybe your mom got washed away by the river. So you can get into the country by crossing the southern border even if members of your family die, but you make it here. Then when you get into Texas, you might be one of the ones that has the opportunity for a free trip to New York, Washington, D.C., or now Chicago. Chicago's on the list, so you can get on a bus and go to Chicago for free. Texas will scan you, make you a little wrist bracelet with a barcode. It's going to have all your paperwork on it, since you probably didn't have an opportunity to bring your own original paperwork with you when you crossed a river with a backpack with socks and some pretzels. So since we are aware that you're not going to have a robust amount of paperwork, we're going to give you a barcode. It's going to have all the paperwork you need in order to maintain your identification claims for federal government purposes. And then you will have an opportunity to get on a bus to go to either Washington, D.C., New York, and now Chicago. So this is a really great opportunity for a lot of people. So Jeremy says that there's nothing more disappointing than putting in all the work necessary to be a sanctuary city and not have people take advantage of that. And I can see that. I can see your point there. Like, I mean, for instance, what if you spent $2 million to build a theater in a farm field in like rural Idaho, and then like there was nobody to go to the movie theater? I mean, that would feel like a waste, right? That would feel like a tremendous amount of effort with no payoff, and you know that can feel unrewarding, and that's not good. So I mean, I can see your point there. So Texas is doing Illinois a service, and okay, okay, I can see that point. I can see that point. Back on the topic of Manuel's car, he took his car for an oil change, and when he went home, the car felt weird. He got to work, the whole car was shaking, took it to a mechanic, and he said he needed belts changed and some things in the engine. Some things in the engine. Hmm. Well, belts changed, you can probably do yourself. Sometimes a serpentine belt is a bit of a hassle, but I think you can do a belt change. If you need some things in the engine, that sounds mysterious, and I don't know. I'm going to assume that's not a direct quote. You need some things in there. Put some things in your engine. Um, Manuel, I don't know how old you are, and I don't know what you do in your city, but I do my own oil changes because I do not trust other people to change the oil in my car. Uh, it would be cheaper to buy a new engine. And a used one is $5,600. Yeah, and sadly, depending on how many miles are on your car, how old your transmission is, and various other things, that still might be your best option. If your car's not very old and you got a good transmission, I mean, is it better or worse to spend $6,000 on an engine for a car that is otherwise, very good, or is it better to spend 15,000 or 20,000 on another car? And you got some consideration to do there, friend. I hope you make a good decision. All right, so on the note of let's see, I'm pretty sure. Let's see, Lori Lightfoot. She was in the new. She had a bit of a press conference yesterday regarding these. Um, Chicago, Lori Lightfoot. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, I'm not gonna jump. I'm not gonna guess because she's gonna yap and yap and yap for however many minutes. But she did offer to pay for the next buses. She said, she talked a bunch of trash about Texas and Texas government and Texans for some reason, even though we're aligning with her mission of sanctuary for migrants. I really don't understand why she attacked us. But she said that next time she'll pay for the buses because it's so important to them. So I suggested perhaps maybe we just send her the bill for the buses we've already spent. So we'll see what happens there. But so if you or someone happens to be crossing into the United States illegally across the southern border, there is now free travel to New York, Washington D.C., or Chicago. So I heard Chicago's good this time of year. I mean, it starts we get into the end of the summer, getting a little bit cooler weather. There's slightly less homicide happening every day than in the summer because I mean, in the summer there's a lot of homicide. I mean, there's so much homicide. But if you can get just past the summer, there's a little bit less homicide. So we'll see. All right. Hey, do you watch YouTube or Twitter? On YouTube or Twitter, do you ever see stories from Project Veritas? Project Veritas is an amazing undercover journalistic enterprise where they started off pretending to be pimps and hoes and catching out people um, supporting prostitution. But I mean, they've done many stories in the last 10 or 15 years, and 40 live in Miami. Oh, Oh man, you just finished paying off your car. Sorry, I'm back on this car topic, folks. Manuel, just finished paying off your car last month. Oh, 2015 Buick Verona. I almost bought a Buick Verona, or I almost test drove one. Man, you just paid it off. Oh, geez, I would not want to spend another 15,000 on a car, right? 2015. It's probably. I mean, you probably got like somewhere around 100,000 miles on it. Maybe 75, 80,000 miles on it. It depends on how much you travel, right? But if it's 7 years old, the average driver puts about 15,000 miles a year on their car. So you might be up there around 100. But some of the modern cars now, if properly maintained, can go for 200,000 miles. So it might be worth it to repair the engine and keep that guy going. Don't know. Okay. Anyway, back to our story. Project Veritas. Here's my bleep, blop, bloop. And I'll leave this sound on just in case. Project Veritas exposes a New York City private school teacher turning students into activists. Oh, come now. Come now. There's no way that she actually meant that she's trying to radicalize students and turn them into activists. That must be an overstatement. A sensational headline here in the post millennial, which has an 82 out of 100. So it's not fake news. On Wednesday, Project Veritas released a video containing an undercover conversation with a student director in New York City's Trinity School, where the female teacher unveiled how she and other teachers at the school inject activism into their teachings. Jennifer Gina Norris, director of student activities at the Trinity School in New York City, was seen boasting about her teachings to the undercover Project Veritas journalist. These weetods fall for this trick every single time. You say you find someone that is attractive, you take them out, you offer to take them out for drinks, and then they sit there and they drink a little bit, and they tell you all the dumb stuff they're doing because people like this are stupid. They're so stupid. They fall for it every time. You know what you're doing is wrong. You know what you're doing is not acceptable to people, and you literally brag about it to total strangers. She doesn't know the guy she's having a drink with, but she's real happy to be having a drink with someone. The Trinity School, which Norris described as a, quote, really fancy private school in the Upper West Side, that's, quote, definitely a school where conservatives would not feel comfortable, serves kids in grades kindergarten through 12, and for the 2022-2023 school year, cost about $58,385 for grades K through 8 and $58,495 for grades 9 through 12. Norris told the journalist, quote, I don't hide how I feel, but I can't pretend I'm promoting an agenda, even though I clearly am with all the stuff that I'm doing. Even though I clearly am with all the stuff that I'm doing. But when I first started there, I hid my whole life. I felt like a double agent. The conversation continued on with Norris stating that she's, quote, afraid of her rich white students, adding that some of the white boys in her school are horrible. That's right. She called her own students horrible. Unfortunately, it's the white boys who feel very entitled to express their opposite opinions and just push back. As in, like, why are you talking about this stuff, you lunatic? We're supposed to be learning math. Why are you doing this? There's a huge contingent of them that are just like horrible. You're like, are you going to be horrible or are you just going to be horrible right now? Don't know. I think they need to go. I think they're really awful people. They're so protected by capitalism, it makes me sad. They're really awful people. And I'm afraid of that's kind of what I'm afraid of with my white students that are rich. Hold on, it gets better. It gets better. At another point in the conversation, Norris asked the journalist about the show Dexter, a crime show centered around a main character who moonlights as a vigilante serial killer. You know the show Dexter? Norris asked, to which the journalist said, yes, we need some vigilante Dexter. Like, here's your community of targets. She's talking about children. She's talking about rich, white, conservative children. And having a serial vigilante murder them for sport. I would play the video, but I'm afraid of getting struck or something. I don't think Veritas would claim it, but YouTube itself might strike me for playing a Veritas video. Oh, Manuel's plan is to just drop a quick 50G on, is it 50G? 50 grand. It'd be 50K. 50G on an electric vehicle. But that's okay because you're not in California, right? Because California is going to ban gas vehicles by 2035. But right now, they won't let you charge your electric vehicle because they're out of power. Yeah. This lady looks at kids and decides they should die because they don't agree with my crazy ass agenda. Let's just see if we get a little.
I work in a really prissy private school up in the upper.
See if we
I
catch
felt like a double agent or something.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, it's the white boys who feel like very entitled to express their opposite opinions and just push back. Well, there's a huge contingent of them that are just like horrible.
They're really awful people.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm afraid of with my white students that are rich. You know the show Dexter?
Oh, yeah.
Like, we just need some vigilante Dexter.
Oh, yeah.
What? That's real. That just happened. You just heard it. Vigilante Dexters. We need some vigilante Dexters to kill these children that I can't convince into being radical activists. Okay. Good job, Project Veritas. And Trinity School, you should not only fire Norris, you should probably fire a lot of people at your school. You should probably fire a lot of them. And, well, you know, maybe not, right? Because, like, it is New York. It is the Upper West Side. Maybe the parents of these students are sympathetic to Norris's viewpoint that children should be radicalized. And who knows? Maybe some of those parents are even sympathetic to the idea that their own children ought to be murdered by serial killers. I don't know. I really can't tell people what to do or believe in their own lives. So I do hope that the parents of the students in the Trinity School are well informed, and they can continue to pay $60,000 a year to have their children brainwashed. Maybe that's what they want, and if that's what they want, okay, I'm not their dad, I'm not their kid, so that's not my problem. But if I were a parent in New York, and you would never catch me out in New York again, but if I were a parent in New York, I would probably say a target for Dexter might ought to be somebody that tries to brainwash children intentionally. That would be a better target. Oh, I'm sorry. Jeremy Boland, the guy in charge of that school, is on administrative leave. Oh, geez, what a problem. What a problem. Oh, that he was the other person that was outed in a project video this last week, who actively said he doesn't hire anyone over the age of 30. He doesn't hire Catholics. He doesn't hire anyone with conservative views. He wants to make sure that the people that he hires are consistent with his agenda. Yeah, no, this is not a single outing of a single person at this school trying to imprint themselves on these children. This is a entire system. This is a whole network of activists and radicals. Hey, but it's only in New York, right? It's not happening in your kids' schools. It's not happening in your town. There's no way. It's only up there. All right, that's enough of that. Thank you, Project Veritas. You are perhaps the only actual investigative journalist left on Earth. All right. So, saw this story yesterday, and I did not run it because, once again, I am rather afraid of YouTube just giving me a strike. But I came up on the New York Post, and I think, hey, that's a little more. This is legitimate. This show, Your Two Dads, featuring only one dad this week. This show does cover legitimate news. I mean, we're talking about news every single day. News, politics, opinion, yes. Culture, pop culture, comics, yes. Movies, yes. But ever since the first week when I played a video of somebody in an altercation and got a strike, I'm a little hesitant to run stuff like this, but I've seen, I don't know, I'm going to roll the dice. We'll see what happens here. New York Police Department releases the body cam footage of Tamani Crumb getting clocked by a cop. That's not this. I don't know what this is. So maybe you saw this on YouTube. It was hilarious. The woman got decked by a New York police detective during a fracas in Harlem, shoved and slapped the cop before she got slugged in the face. That's right. The series of events is this young man right here was being arrested and detained by cops. Looked like he was trying to, pucker up and get a little kissy kiss from his girl, but his girl walked up and started struggling and straddling and slapping and hitting at a cop, and the cop just reached out once and popped her in the jaw and knocked her the fuck out. I mean, she fell like a sack of bricks. She went down so quick. It's so funny. Here you can see this is her mid-fall. And, her lights are out, and she's just going plop right to the ground. Going to land on some of that chewed up bubble gum, some of that nastiness. So let me cover the story if you hadn't already seen it. I don't know if I'm going to run the clip or not. The woman who got decked by an NYPD detective in the fracas in Harlem shoved and slapped the cop before getting slugged in the face, according to a compilation of body footage recordings released by the department Thursday. The first clip, which was shot from the side and lasts only 19 seconds, shows Tamani Crumb, 19, scuffling with a uniformed detective before he knocks her to the sidewalk with a devastating blow during the controversial incident in Harlem Tuesday afternoon. The second clip, which appears to come from Kinsey's camera and lasts 60 seconds, shows him approaching the scene on West 136th Street near Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard, where the NYPD said the cops were arresting Elvin James, 22, on an attempted murder charge at 4:45 p.m. As cops surrounded the handcuffed suspect, Crumb rushes up shouting, "What's the problem?" Kinsey attempted to grab Crumb's left arm, but she pulled free, after which he grabbed her again and yanked her away from the video. The video shows. "Don't effing touch me," Crumb screamed while shoving Kinsey with her right hand. Kinsey then shoved Crumb back by pushing against her throat with the crook of his hand, prompting her to slap the cop. He pushed her back out of the scene. "Get off of me," she said. Kinsey responded by what appears to be a right cross that sent Crumb flying backward, to the astonishment of several bystanders who said, "Oh, what'd you do that for? She's just a girl." FAFO. So this is a classic case of F around and find out. You do not run up to cops that are detaining a murder suspect and try to interfere multiple times, or you might get your lights turned out for a second. She's actually lucky because people can fall to the ground like that and crack their heads open and die. She is being arraigned on obstruction of justice charges, I believe. So, okay, checking up on chat here. That chick was open to having drag queens read stories to kindergartners. We're back to talking about Norris. Yeah, probably so. Not surprised. And she was just getting her life together. She was going to go to college in the fall, Tamani Crumb. Well, she can definitely go to college after the fall since she already fell and got knocked the fuck out. All right, let's talk science, boys and girls. Let's talk science. Did you know we are so amazing, Americans, in particular Americans, yes. I mean, not just Americans, humans. Humans are so amazing, but Americans are so amazing. that we can do science and stuff, and we can do science and not even be there. So turns out some time ago, some scientists built a little lunchbox-sized contraption and threw it to Mars. And got to Mars, and now that little thing can make oxygen. That's right. We are able to manufacture oxygen with a thing called a moxie. This is a. Let's go with. Let's go with. What's this? ABC. Let's just go with high factuality, left leaning CNN. Let's do this one. Oh, it's in Spanish. CNN Espanol. We'll translate this. The Perseverance rover. Nope, don't need to hear that. Thank you. The Perseverance rover can produce as much oxygen as a small tree on Mars. Humans are one small step closer to landing on the red planet in the in situ oxygen resource utilization experiment on Mars, better known as MOXIE, successfully produced oxygen from Mars's carbon dioxide-rich atmosphere in a series of tests as part of NASA's Perseverance mission, which landed on Mars in February 2021. MOXIE was able to produce oxygen in 7 tests conducted since April 2021 in a variety of atmospheric conditions, including during the day and at night, and through different Martian stations, according to research published Wednesday in the journal Science Advances. Like Earth, Mars has distinct seasons, but they last longer than the seasons on Earth since Mars takes longer to orbit the sun. In each of the tests, MOXIE reached its goal of producing 6 grams of oxygen per hour, roughly the rate of a modest tree on Earth. This is the first demonstration of the utilization of resources on surface of another planetary body and their chemical transformation into something useful for a human mission. MOXIE Deputy Principal Investigator Jeffrey Hoffman, a retired astronaut and professor at the Department of Aeronautics and Astronautics in the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, said in a news release, "It is historic in that sense." Well, that is cool. We can make oxygen. That's great. That is super awesome. Oops, wrong one. Oh, you can't close that one. Super awesome. Oh, you guys can't. Oh, I'm so sorry. You only saw the ground news feed. Let me. Anyway, so we can make oxygen on Mars. How useful is that? Does that convince you that now maybe it's time to consider going to Mars? Mars, the red planet. Humans will die there. Humans will die there because there's no resources, there's no ecosystem. Okay, we can make oxygen. We can make a little bit of oxygen. Do you know how big a planet is? It's very large. Oh, but we can blow up hairspray or detonate nukes. Guys, we're not living on Mars. That's not going to happen. We will die on Mars. That will happen. That will happen. There will be people that die on Mars. But lunchboxes that makes oxygen, not going to fix the problem. Why don't you just plant trees on Mars? There's carbon dioxide, right? Oh, there's carbon dioxide, but there's no nutrients or the rest of the biosystem to keep the trees going. Okay, so that's not going to work. And that's going to continue to remain a problem indefinitely. Indefinitely. Oh, no, sir. No. We will go to Mars. But it is pointless. Yeah, it is pointless. Okay. Alrighty then. Let's see what else is going on in the news. We've got some more science news. Let's see. Check this out. Let's see. Let's go with. We'll go with this one here. And then I do this button. This is so easy. Restream. I'm so grateful how easy it is to switch between stories. This is the businessstandard.com. They do not appear to be NewsGuard certified, so this may or may not be fake news, but Ground News says that they are a largely central source of information, so we're going to trust it. NASA captures the first direct image of an exoplanet outside our solar system. The exoplanet is about 6 to 12 times the mass of Jupiter. And these observations could help narrow things down even further. For the first time, astronomers have used NASA's James Webb Telescope to take a direct image of a planet outside of our solar system. The planet is called HIP 65426b. It's a gas giant, meaning it has no rocky surface and could not be inhabitable. The exoplanet is about 6 to 12 times the size of Jupiter, and the observations could. Let's please repeat that. Let's please repeat that sentence. It is young. It's about 15 to 20 million years old compared to our 4.5 billion year old Earth. This is a transformative moment, not only for Webb, but also for astronomy in general, said Sasha Hinkie, Associate Professor of Physics and Astronomy at the University of Exeter in the UK. The image, as seen through 4 different light filters, shows how Webb's powerful infrared gaze can easily capture worlds beyond our solar system, pointing the way for future observations that will reveal more information than ever about exoplanets. The image shows the exoplanet HIP 65426b in different bands of infrared light. Let's get a look at this guy. Where's the photos? You dumb people didn't put the photo of here? Nope. Seriously? What a fail. You had one job. Put a picture of another planet on the news, and they failed to do that. Let's see if NASA has it available. HIP 65426b images. Don't trust any of these pictures. Let me tell you, I've seen this photo. It is not compelling. Oh, I think I found it. Is this it? Yes, I found it. Okay, gotcha. JJW, what your dad's doing journalism stuff. Here, look at me, journalism at you. Check out this super awesome, sexy planet right here. Look at this. Here's the NIR cam F300M. Ooh. And then F44W. Oh, and look right there. You can see there's a little word that says planet. It points right there. Isn't that amazing? Don't be underwhelmed. Don't be underwhelmed by this colorful dot. Just perhaps is crossing over the. This is another world. Let's see how far away this world is. Maybe we can go visit it. Let's see. It's 15 to 20 million years old compared to our 4.5 billion year old Earth. HIP 65426b is about 100 times farther from its host star than the Earth is from the Sun. So it's about 100 astronomical units from its own star, and it's sufficiently distant from the star that Webb can easily separate the planet from the star in the image. Okay, I don't want to have this notification anymore. So now it's okay. Sorry, hope you weren't getting a ding dong sound. How far away is it from Earth, though? How long will it take us to get there? To get to a planet made of gas? I don't see it. I read yesterday that it's something like 314 million light years, or 314 light years away from the Earth. So awesome! Good job, science. Good job, scientists. We found a planet. That is so good and useful. I don't mind. Keep aiming it up there. Keep doing that. That's awesome. The planet's pronouns are XRB. That's a good joke, sir. I like that. All right. Alrighty then. Hey, maybe science and space and interstellar farts are not what's moving you this morning for news. You know what? Maybe you need a real human connection. Maybe you need something from the news that is heartfelt and compelling and can really get into you, and make you feel for another person. Maybe that's what you need. Well, I got it for you. I did my job yesterday, boys and girls. I did my job doing news. Here we go. Are you ready for this story? Be prepared. Steel yourselves. Close your mouth. Man in coma after stung by bees 20,000 times, family says. Austin Bellamy swallowed 30 bees in a horror attack that came after he sliced into a nest of African killer bees while trimming a lemon tree. Holy moly. Now, don't worry. He's out of a coma, okay? This man was stung by 20,000 bees, but he's woken up from a coma. He ingested 30 of the bees. They swarmed him, and as he screamed in terror, being stung 20,000 times, they went in his mouth. They went in his mouth and crawled into his body and probably stung him in the mouth. This guy had a real bad day. Real bad day. Your day is going to be better than his day. Today's going to be a great day for you. Today is going to be an amazing day because you are not going to get swarmed by a massive colony of African killer bees and have them, some of them, enter you. So, oh man. Good morning, Mr. Haddonfield. How would you like to be the person that counted 20,000 bee stings? Ouch. That's true. Ouch, that's true. Oh my goodness. Can you just imagine? Okay, probably it wasn't 30 bees at once, or maybe it was. Maybe it was 30 bees at once that entered his mouth, because I can imagine being stung, sting. And then they're in your mouth and you're like, oh my God, I screamed and they're in my mouth. And then you have to close your mouth and you have to scream in terror with your mouth clenched shut and bugs crawling inside of your throat, in your stomach. I mean, they're stinging you in your inside of your guts. This is nuts, dude. This is absolutely crazy. I really don't think we got to go any deeper than that, but whoa, am I wrong? Is that like, I mean, we have a nice science story, and then, we clear the palate with a tale of horror, nightmares, a tale of horror and nightmares. All right, let's shift gears one more time. So maybe you saw this, maybe you didn't. The press secretary for the White House said a day or two ago, when challenged by Doug Ducey, who seems to be the only journalist in the press room, she said that it was the efforts of Democrats that restored education since the lockdowns, because the prior administration allowed so many schools to lock down and keep kids out of school. And it was the efforts of the Biden administration to get those schools reopened and get kids back in school in person. Did you hear that? That total bullshit. I don't know if you saw that or not. I'm not going to play a clip of her, but let's check this out. Let's see. This is top notch. On the topic of bees, Jeremy, come on. Jeremy says, never scream, clench your teeth, and don't get impregnated by bees. Whoa. Did he forget to move away from the swarm after the first stings? He just held his position. I'm not going to let you push me around, bees. And Jeremy says, look, your best plan at that point, go unconscious. Hey, take a lesson from Tamani Crump. If you engage in something that you're out of your depth, just take a nap. Just go right to sleep. Don't even try to fight it. All right. Do 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 do. Here we go. I should have tied. You know what? I should have. I'm gonna take ownership of this flaw in the show, boys and girls. Earlier in the show, I definitely had a story about education. I should have really brought this together. I really should have tied these together, segued these, if you will. I did a poor job. Please leave a comment in the description of the video later on and tell everybody how bad of a job I did and how much I could have done better. National test scores show sharp drop in reading, math, among students after COVID lockdowns. Reading scores declined for the first time in 30 years. Math scores declined for the first time ever. For the first time ever. Americans are dumber than they have ever been. Wow. Wow. What could have caused this? Testing scores for young students around the country have plummeted sharply following the drawn-out disruptions caused by COVID-19 mitigation policies, with school shutdowns, remote learning, and in-person viral abatement policies being cited for the drop. Ooh, that's not good. Turns out keeping your kids home and not sending them to school and letting them be on the internet to do school, it doesn't work. Who in the world could have thought such a thing? I can't even. There's no way this is right. The National Center for Education Statistics this week released the results of its 2022 Special Administration of the National Assessment of Educational Progress, what is popularly known as the National Report Card. The congressionally mandated assessment test has been conducted roughly every 2 years since 1969. The NCES said in a press release this week that this year's test showed average scores for age 9 students in 2022 declined by 5 points in reading and 7 points in mathematics compared to 2020. This is the largest average score decline in reading since 1990 and the first ever score decline in mathematics. The drop in scores comes after protracted anti-COVID measures implemented at schools across the country, with many schools closing in early 2020 and relegating students to indefinite remote learning, and others reopening with cumbersome viral mitigation rules and policies. Experts and critics have been warning of the potential damages such measures will likely have on student education, though hard numbers demonstrating the effect of those rules are only just now becoming available. Well, that is. Who could have thunk that? Who would have believed that not schooling your kids would have led them to be more dumb? More dumber. I'm not talking about homeschooling. I'm talking about remote learning by the government. Yeah. I think we're all not surprised. But hey, if you like this, vote Democrat again. You can get some more of this if you want. I'm scrolling through my here it is. Here it is. Let's go switch it up to much related. I mentioned a moment ago about our amazing press secretary. Here we have a tweet from Phil Kerpen, who is a syndicated columnist, IFC chairman, and some other stuff. Check this out. Hold on, I can never tell if I'm sending video or not. I'm not sending audio or not. I'm gonna try it again just to be sure. Let's do it one more time. Leave that on. Here we go.
The National Assessment of Educational Progress has this new testing that shows that 9-year-olds lost ground in both math and reading in pretty dramatic ways as a result.
Okay, you can see the question and the prompt. And let's see. Here we have Jean-Pierre Jean-Pierre, the worst press secretary ever. She's bad at this job. She just lies to you. It doesn't even pretend to have any idea what she's talking about.
Open sooner.
So let's step back to where we were
Step back.
not too long ago when this president walked into this administration.
When he walked
how
in.
mismanaged the pandemic, the response to the pandemic was.
This is Trump's
how
fault.
47% of schools were in less than 6 months. Our schools went from 46%
Right.
to open to nearly all of them being open. To
Oh, you
that
fixed
was the work of this president.
You fixed President Biden fixed the problem. He 46 to almost all of them are open. What's this? In-person schooling over the full school year by state, Burbio calendar. Let's see what this shows. On the left-hand side of this graph is the average percent of in-person. Just a moment. Okay. We have a percentage on the left-hand side of in-person attendance for each state over the course of the academic year. Okay, back to this. So here you can see it looks like Wyoming. I think that's a W-Y, Wyoming. Looks like Wyoming had 100 in attendance. And what you see here with the red and blue is color coding by the party of the governor of that state. So a Republican governed state, 100% attendance. Arkansas, a Republican governed state, it looks like somewhere around 98% attendance. Republican. Okay, this go. I mean, it's declining a little bit, but still, it seems to be mostly Republican states that kept their kids in school. It's so strange. Let's see, Louisiana. Louisiana is a Democratic governor. This might be actually a flaw in the data. I read somewhere around that. I'm not sure, but maybe they have a Democratic. Good job, Louisiana. Let's see. We're still going down, but for some reason, all of these states that are above 50% attendance would be red states. That would mean that these students did not have a lot of remote learning, distance learning, lockdown policies in place during 2020. So strange. But as you get down here to the bottom end, where there are less than 50% attendance in person and less than 25% attendance in person, well, these states all seem to have Democrat governors. That's so strange. That's so strange. What could have caused the decline? What kind of policies and leadership could have caused a decline in student education such that we are less able to do readering and less able to do mathering? I just can't figure it out. I don't understand. I don't know. It's probably random. Okay, well, how are you going to know? Impossible. It's impossible to know.
Daddy, I'm going back upstairs.
Okay, let's get going. We got a few more stories. My kids are waking up, but we're going to definitely save the D&D and Deacon stuff for the next time Deacon's on the show. Hey, one of my favorite movies ever is V for Vendetta. I mean, have you ever seen V for Vendetta? It is an absolutely awesome movie based on a comic book. The author of the comic book hates the movie. He thinks it's a very poor adaptation. I don't blame him. Alan Moore hates everything. But, I mean, just the striking visuals of V for Vendetta. Here you see John Hurt as the voice of the government declaring England will prevail. This striking imagery of strength, and it only requires a little bit of oppression of civil rights and, and tyranny of the government. actual fascism where the people running the government are also in control of the drug companies that cause the biggest problem in the world anyway. But, I mean, so this movie is just so. Wait, hold on. That's not a scene from the movie. What is that? Oh, this is hashtag pedo Hitler, hashtag Biden speech. Last night, I can't believe I got these things mixed up. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I was really, really trying to talk about V for Vendetta and not the President of the United States giving a speech last night vilifying 74 million Americans for merely holding different views and values than the president himself. Now, you might be fooled into thinking how inappropriate it might be for the President of the United States to hold a political campaign speech behind the presidential seal, staged with members of the military as props in the background of his speech. Yeah, that appears like that's something that would be inappropriate, but I'm sure it's unprecedented, right? I'm sure that's I'm sure it's precedented. It's not as bad as it seems. So Darth Biden here needs maybe a little help in the persuasion department. Maybe don't dress your your campaign stump speech as though you are in a Star Wars movie. How does this not look totally evil to the casual viewer? Crazy. Yeah. So if you haven't already, I do implore you. The president is able to yell and scream at people for like 20 minutes yesterday in a speech. So do your civic duty. Do your civic duty, boys and girls. Go listen to the president speak. You can go to youtube.com, something White House, and you can watch his Soul of the Nation speech. And you can hear a president deride and denigrate millions of Americans in a giant swath brush. And he can talk about how evil maybe not you, maybe you're not MAGA. I wouldn't say that I'm MAGA. I'm not a diehard Trump guy. I am a diehard freedom guy. I'm a diehard say whatever you want guy. But I know I've been supportive of the president in the past. I also am critical of the prior president in his in certain ways. I'm heavily critical of Biden. I'll admit that. Just because I'm heavily critical of Biden, does that make me MAGA? I don't own a red hat. I'm not giving any money to Donald Trump or anyone else. But I feel like I'm included in the group of modern deplorables here. I feel like I am definitely included in the group of people who the president says are a threat to democracy. A threat to democracy. People like me who say you should be able to say whatever you want and I should be able to say whatever I want and you are allowed to disagree with me and I'm allowed to disagree with you. People like me are a threat to democracy because democracy should obviously be everybody has the same opinion and that opinion is Joe Biden's, right? Go watch it for yourself. Go watch the president's speech. Don't skip it. This is your homework over the weekend. You get to go to a movie for $3, but you must watch the president's speech. It's only 20 minutes, and it's definitely ratioed as hell. You guys want to see the ratio? Let's find it out. Let's go look at the president's ratio. Here is, maybe I'll give you a clip. I charge you to do your own homework. Look at this. Hey JJ, how'd you get dislikes on this video? I got an extension. It's called I don't know what it's called. It's in here. Restore YouTube dislike. That's right. If you restore YouTube dislike, you can get the dislike data. So you can see here that the White House official website, or official YouTube channel with 2 million subscribers, President Biden delivers primetime speech on the continued battle for the soul of the nation. 700 people thumbed it up. 3,000 people thumbed it down. Here's your president.
How painful. And here, in my view, is what is true. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution.
MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution.
They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They refuse to accept the results of a free election. And they're working right now, as I speak, in state after state, to give power to decide elections in America to partisans and cronies, empowering election deniers to undermine democracy itself.
Oh, I'm sure it gets better than that. That's not the worst thing he says. Well, you'll have to go find out for yourself. I'm not going to play the president's whole speech, but you better know what your president is saying about your cousin and your uncle and your brother and your aunt and about half of America. Am I saying that Democrats are evil? No. Do any Republicans say Democrats are evil? I mean, yeah, they say some Democrats are evil. I will say some people like, I don't know, that woman that's trying to radicalize children, she's evil and misguided. But am I going to say all Democrats are evil? Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. You can't generalize across millions of people a certain particular attitude that you disagree with. I will say certain people are criminal. Certain people are misguided. Certain people are evil. Certain people are political, driven by their own desired outcomes and policy preferences. But I'm not going to say millions of people in a broad swath. This is what this guy is doing is going to lead to people getting hurt, more people getting hurt. It's going to lead to actual violence because he's going to empower people to say, oh, the president said these people are a threat to democracy. They're a threat to democracy. What do you do if something is a threat to democracy? What does that mean? These people are a threat to your life and your liberty and your freedom. What would you do if somebody was a threat to your life? What would you do if somebody was a threat to your freedom? The president is setting the stage for a violent revolution, and not conservatives revolting against the establishment, but for leftists to violently, which we've seen them do. We have seen them do. We saw it for the entire summer of love. Setting cities on fire, protests every night, shattering people's windows and stores and property, assaulting people, murdering people. Like something like 36 people died over the summer of love in various cities where there were a couple of kids in a car that just got hundreds of rounds of ammunition shot them up. People are dragged out of their cars. Their cars are being stopped. They're dragged out. They're beaten. They're assaulted. Places are set on fire. The president is empowering the most radical, criminal elements in our society, giving them justification for real violence. And then, of course, they will write them off later or pretend it didn't happen. This is dangerous stuff, folks. What the president did last night is very, very bad. But don't take my word for it. Go watch it for yourself. That's a little bit dark right there. But I did get my cool V for Vendetta joke in. It's good stuff. Not my joke. Everybody else is saying it too. It is legitimately an awesome movie. All right, last thing, and then I'm gonna go. Let's lighten it up here and get out light. Do you guys remember? When Nancy Pelosi's husband Paul was accused of insider trading for buying NVIDIA stocks just before chip manufacturing legislation was going to be introduced to the House? Do you guys remember that? It was only like a month or two ago. And Paul Pelosi had purchased some NVIDIA stock, And then it suddenly came up on the national agenda that there was going to be some semiconductor legislation. And of course, Nancy Pelosi, Paul's husband, happens to be the Speaker of the House and has control over what sort of legislation makes it into the House floor for debate and consideration. There's no way that's a conflict of interest for the Pelosi family to buy and sell stocks based on, you know, technology or basically any market that over which she also has the ability to govern and push the market. So that story came out, and seemingly as a response, the Paul Pelosi, not Nancy, not herself, Paul Pelosi, her husband, totally different human being, sold off all of the Nvidia stock that they held. That was at the end of July that I'm sorry, I said she, my mistake, it's not Nancy Pelosi. My bad. Paul Pelosi sold off the Nvidia stock that they held. Turns out, and you're not going to believe this, what a coincidence. This is an amazing coincidence. It turns out that Paul Pelosi dodged an extra 20% loss by selling when he did. Turns out that Paul Pelosi sold at the top. He sold off that Nvidia stock just before it crashed in August, due, of course, to regulations put in by the United States government. Paul Pelosi, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat out of California, dodged an extra 20% loss by selling his Nvidia stock in July before the United States placed restrictions on the company in August, according to some documents. According to congressional stock trade records, Pelosi's husband, Nancy Pelosi's husband, 25,000 shares of the semiconductor manufacturer on July 27th. The sale comes as the speaker faced intense scrutiny over her husband's purchase of share ahead of the CHIPS chips bill. Nearly a month later, on August 26th, the federal government placed restrictions on NVIDIA doing business with China and Russia. Wow, that's a coinky-dink right there. At a selling price of $165.05 per share, the July sale netted the Pelosi's a $341,365 loss, according to financial website Unusual Whales. Unusual Whales also reported that if Mr. Pelosi had sold the shares Wednesday, August 31st, that is 2 days ago, there would have been an extra 20% loss due to government restrictions. Nancy Pelosi's spokesperson, Drew Hamill, told Fox News Digital that there was no correlation between Mr. Pelosi's sale and the government restrictions placed a month later. Hamill also pointed to the office's statement on the speaker's husband's sale. Mr. Pelosi bought options to buy stock in this company more than a year ago and exercised them on June 17, 2022. As always, he does not discuss these matters with the speaker until trades have been made and required disclosures must be prepared and filed. Let's read that again. Mr. Pelosi bought options to buy stock. He bought stock options in NVIDIA more than a year ago and exercised his options in June 17th of this year. Then in July 27th, about a month later, during which time all of this chips bill announcement hullabaloo started, and people started saying, hey, that's crazy that you're buying stock options, you're exercising your stock options just before the chips bill comes up. Then he sold out, dumped 25,000 shares, and now a month later, it turns out that if he had held on to them any further, that he would have lost more money. It's like he minimized his risk. Maybe he knew something that you didn't about China and the United States government and semiconductors and restrictions. Pretty interesting stuff, guys. Pretty interesting stuff, but don't worry. You're governed by people who love freedom and trust you and would never treat you differently than they treat themselves. Well, that's it for this morning. I am JJ. I do want to mention this. I don't know if he's back or if he's coming back by. 2 days ago, at the very, very end of the show, we had a comment from a user named Free Focus. Free Focus. And he said, I think he said something like, keep up the good work or something like that, to which I am honored. I am honored that you would say such a thing to me on the chats. Free Focus is the publisher of Octopus Cowboy from Free Focus Comics. Let me turn this filtery thing off because it's definitely messing stuff up. Here we go. Wow, that's worse. What happened? I messed that up. That was wrong. Whoops. Free Focus Comics, Octopus Cowboy. Captured by ex-fighter Charlie Knox, Slade is forced to fight in a vicious blood sport where animals are pitted against each other for entertainment. In what should have been a highly profitable match, Charlie is cheated out of his money. Now he has no choice but to return to the town where he fell from grace and risk it all in a high-stakes bout that Slade can't possibly win. Octopus Cowboy. Literally an octopus fighting a gorilla and a hyena, and this guy's got guns, and maybe he's got psychedelic ink powers. Not sure. This book is awesome. And you can pick it up for $25. Go find Free Focus Comics on Twitter. Or go to Indiegogo.com and search for Octopus Cowboy. He's shipped out everybody that's ordered already, and you can pick up the PDF for $15. You can get the book itself for $25, or you can do what I did and give an artist that wrote and illustrated an entire book by himself. And I mean, it's no small comic book. This is 100 pages, 96 pages. It's one of the better books that I've gotten. I'm going to say it's probably in top 5 for sure. I've got a lot of Comicsgate books, but it's definitely one of the best ones. Octopus Cowboy. Go check it out. Free Focus Comics. And if he comes by again, let's keep our eyes out for him and see if he comments, and then we'll give him another shout. That's all I got this morning. It is Friday, September 2nd, 2022. We ran a little long because I'm not going to work today. What I'm going to do is take my kids to school and then take my wife on a date. And anyway, it's my kid's birthday this weekend. We're going to have a big party, a lot of stuff. We're going to do crazy stuff this weekend. We'll be back Monday morning. I'm sure that Deacon will be back Monday morning, and that this will be a show hosted by your two dads. I'm so grateful you were here. Please like, subscribe, and tell somebody else to watch this too, because I mean, how can you keep all of this to yourself? Don't be so selfish. Give a little bit to your friends and family. We'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.